Okay, if you are the Republican presidential campaign, you have two people on your ticket, right? You have two guys. You also have a very fragile lead in the polls among older voters. You must maintain or increase that lead among seniors if you want any chance of winning the election in November. So, there's a big speaking engagement coming up in front of the AARP, the American Association of Retired Persons. The senior set, if you will. The voters you have and that you must keep. Sensitive issue, right? Which of you two guys do you send to the AARP? Do you send the old guy? The one who is 65 years old and famous for being a great businessman with 2 whole years of zillionaire tax returns that you can see? Or do you send the other guy? Do you send your senior citizen, or do you send the young, blue-eyed, hyperkinetic ball of lean muscle who is mainly famous for his plan to kill Medicare? Oh, and who also used to want to privatize Social Security. Which guy? Old rich guy or young guy with plan to kill Medicare? Remember, it's AARP. Which of your two guys do you send?
Seniors are threatened by Obamacare, a law that would force steep cuts to real benefits in real time for real people. Meanwhile, younger Americans are burdened by an ever-growing national debt and a diminished future. The first step to a stronger Medicare is to repeal Obamacare, because it represents the worst of both worlds. I had a feeling there would be mixed reactions, so let me get into it. It weakens Medicare for today's seniors and puts it at risk for the next generation. First, it funnels $716 billion out of Medicare to pay for a new entitlement we didn't even ask for. Second, it puts 15 unelected bureaucrats in charge of Medicare's future. Let's talk about each one of these in turn. You may not have heard this side of the story. By now, you've probably heard a lot of claims and counterclaims about the president's raid on Medicare. The president said that this would actually strengthen the program. He said it would improve the program's solvency. Ladies and gentlemen, that's just not true. The money wasn't walled off to stay in Medicare. Instead, the law turned Medicare into a piggy bank for Obamacare. You don't have to take my word for it. Time and again, this president has ducked the tough issues. He's put his own job security over your retirement security. Of course, he said he'd be willing to work with Republicans, but he has not moved an inch closer to common ground.
Some convention goers walked out of the Ryan speech. It should be of little surprise that seniors in attendance weren't sold on Ryan's rhetoric.
I think they could see the shallowness in some of the arguments that Mr. Ryan had proposed. People around me were booing, and I think they get the feeling that these folks will say anything just to get elected.
Well, I didn't find Ryan sincere at all.
It's the haves and the have-nots, and that bothers me because I grew up in a Republican Party that was not that way. But 47%, that's horrible to come out with something, a statement like that, because, hey, I've worked since I was 14 years old. I'm 72 now. I paid for into all these programs, the Medicare and that. They're not entitlement.